Details, please. That's what the Senate Intelligence Committee is asking today of several former Trump associates, including Michael Flynn and Roger Stone. The committee wants all records of advisors and their contacts with Russia, reportedly willing to subpoena anyone who doesn't comply. I want to bring in Carrie Lucas, Vice President of Policy and Economics at the Independent Women's Forum, Jonathan Alter, MSNBC political analyst, Daily Beast columnist, and author of The Center Holds, Obama and His Enemies. Jonathan, first, what do you make of this request, and how effective do you think these folks are going to comply?
Well, if they don't comply, they will be subpoenaed. Roger Stone has already said that he will comply. Carter Page and Paul Manafort are being dodgier, but they will have to turn over, their emails and other contacts, and we'll see where that investigation leads. I think Democrats need to be cautious about jumping to conclusions that somehow once they're subpoenaed, there's going to be some kind of smoking gun that's going to lead to the resignation or impeachment of Donald Trump. But they will find out more about what actually happened and what these Russian contacts.
Yeah, and folks need to calm down about this and not make, not come up with some type of firm conclusion and then find the facts to fill in that support that. It's got to really be the reverse on this, Carrie. And we know that there has been evidence the fact that Flynn got fired, from the Trump folks, and the fact that he lied to the vice president about his contacts with Sergei Kislyak, the content of that conversation, and even the Trump transition team asking for background from the Obama team on Kislyak to brief Flynn. Do you feel that the Trump team kind of really let down Flynn, and now they've let him get, shoved under the bus?
Well, it's hard to know. We really do need a lot more information to come out. I agree with you and Jonathan that we need a lot more facts and shouldn't jump to conclusions. It does look like the Trump team, some of the revelations this week seem to make it appear as though people were worried that he was misinformed or maybe being a little naive in going into these conversations. That's a very different story and a different situation than the idea that he was colluding with them. But we still have to see. So I agree we should, we should revisit this topic another time because we really don't have any new information and need to wait for those facts to come out. Yeah,
another topic we keep revisiting year after year, Jonathan, is health care for all in this country, and now we have the House moving forward with its version of repeal and replace, now moving over to the Senate. Where do you think it goes from here? Is this just a hot potato back and forth?
No, I actually think those who are being confident that the Senate will kill this horrible House bill need to look back at just a week when people were saying that the House wasn't going to pass anything. Anytime there's another step in the process, it builds momentum for a bill. So I think when people are very concerned, those like me who have pre-existing conditions, that we could lose our insurance or be forced to pay 10, 20 times as much as we do now, those are very, very legitimate concerns. Now, it wouldn't necessarily apply to everybody in every state, but there will be millions and millions of people who, if this bill in this form goes through, or even somewhat close to this form, will be thrown into what I call medical apartheid. And separate and unequal.
Carrie, what do you think?
The thing that is great about Obamacare is that it treats everybody equal. It does not discriminate against people who have been sick. That's as wrong as discriminating against.
Let me ask Carrie really fast. Do you think that the Republicans really performed and provided for themselves a win in this, or really provided a win for the American people with what they did in the House?
Look, we need to remember why we're here. This is because for every one person who says they've been helped by Obamacare, there's two people who say they've been hurt by it. The reason why we're having this conversation, yes, it is. It's a Gallup poll. You've got millions of Americans who lost their insurance, had their insurance canceled. They've seen premiums skyrocketing, and they voted for people who are promising to repeal and replace Obamacare, and that's what we need. And right now we have a death spiral.
Carrie, I got to leave it there. We're under an effective order to be out in 5 seconds, so I'm really sorry. Thank you at home. Jonathan, Carrie, all of you at home. Thanks.